Silverstone for the first time in its short history, and we had a cracking race earlier on this morning, which has been the standout affair, I would suggest, so far today. A win in the end for Brandon McCohan and Leo Robinson, so a combination of Ireland and Algeria. And Robinson, mightily impressive, the 16-year-old, winning after 28 laps by 3.3 seconds over Roman Bakla. And Bakla's win could be crucial as far as the championship is concerned, because he outscored both Eco Segre and Maxwell Dodds in their number 6 car, but also Jude Peters and Vic Stevens, who had a bit of a nightmare, actually. They were involved in an incident on the opening lap. Vic Stevens had limited running in qualifying yesterday anyway, so they were having to come from a tough qualifying position. But no doubt about it, grabbing the headlines yesterday was Hamda Al-Kubaisi with a first pole position perhaps ever here at Silverstone from an Emirati driver. We've been searching through the archives, but that's very likely the case. The 88 car then taking pole ahead of Christian Brooks in the 360 competition 33 car. Then Leo Robinson, who will start the number 1 car after that really great closing stint earlier. So that's the number 1 car on the inside of row 2 for Team Virage. Trajectures Motorsports, Matisse Poulet next up, and then ASM Motorsports, Ruben Hage, and the Loire Valley Racing entry of Roman Bakla, still the championship leader. JS2R is led by Simone Riccitelli, and on my very basic mathematics, Riccitelli is now a championship leader by 4 points, so there's been a swing around there. Riccitelli came to Silverstone trailing by 6. He now has an advantage of 4 over August Turbo, who starts second in JS2R. Then Stephen Paulette, who's sharing with Lucas Papin. Paulette's not in the championship fight for the drivers, but his teammate Papin is in the 18 VSF sports car. Then Noé de Cunha, Martin Lacquaman for Les Deux Sabres and Trajectors Motorsport, Cindy Goudet for M Racing, also there or thereabouts in the championship, but struggled a little bit in the opening race, finishing eventually in 5th position. But great turnout of cars, 23 in total across 2 different categories, Graham Goodwin, and they were sparkling early this morning.
Fantastic 1 hour race for both lead battles, both classes, lead battles, absolutely magical stuff. Lead changes, super clean, overtakes, lots of skill on offer and pace. But here, as they come down towards the start line, Johnny, very different starting grid. We know, therefore, there are quick drivers behind the cars that managed to get the best laps in qualifying. And for Hamda Al-Kubaisi making another headline in this European Le Mans Series paddock this season for female drivers, coming forward and turning heads for all the absolutely correct reasons in sporting terms. Coming round now to take the start, and fingers crossed we get another race as spellbindingly good as it was this morning.
Remember, they're all going to make a pit stop somewhere between 27 minutes into the race and 34 minutes into the race. So it's a 7-minute pit stop window, some of the drivers will change drivers, others are doing the whole thing on their own. And if you're a solo driver, you need to take 5 extra seconds in the pit lane when you're doing your stop. It's 125 seconds versus 130. Not quite level as they work their way through Woodcote. That is evened up, though, now as Christian Brooks gets alongside Hamda Al-Kubaisi's car, and Al-Kubaisi with the better of the starts heading into Copse Corner, but the tyres, although the ambient temperature is more than it was at 9 o'clock this morning, the tyres are not necessarily right there for performance. That'll take a few corners, but Al-Kubaisi gets away well from Christian Brooks, who starts the 360 competition car there in second. Then it's the number 1 car of Leo Sammy Robinson, so impressive, 16-year-old Algerian in race 1, doing the opening half an hour or so. JS2Rs led by the pole sitter Simone Riccitelli from August Turbo in the all-black 57 car. And a couple now just peeling away from the natural racing line to offer some competition to Hamda Al-Kubaisi. He'll have to keep it very wide because it's a 2-pronged attack, not only from Brooks, who's well off the road, and Leo Robinson. Brooks with the inside line clearly took advantage coming out of Stowe. So the question is, Will he be allowed to keep this place? But Hamda Al-Kubaisi hanging on to second just about, but now she kisses goodbye to that as well as Leah Robinson down the inside at club, and it is all changed at the front.
Yeah, be interested to see how they saw that move from Christian Brooks. It looked like he moved to allow the retake to happen, but only barely. And even in doing that, compromised Hamda Al-Kubaisi into the next turn, which cost her another position. So it'll be interesting to see what race control think of that one. But Christian Brooks, the 360 competition car, after having started late in race 1, has an absolute turnaround here in race 2 and is at the moment in the lead of race 2 here at Silverstone.
So on to the Wellington Straight for the first time, and now Christian Brooks is the hunted down car with Leo Robinson looking to go on the inside. Now Butler versus who's doing the starting stint? It's Eco Segre.
And Matisse Poulet, three wide there, and it looked to me as if, did he? Yes, he did. Got the better of that, and I think Roman Berkler may have done both of them there as the number 12 car gets turned around.
That's an unbelievable move if he managed to get through. There was a touch.
That's why.
Yes.
That's why.
It was the ricochet. So there was a touch from Butler, first of all, onto Segre. Segre into the car on its outside, and eventually the third of those cars spun.
Change for the lead.
Change for the lead,
yeah.
As Brooks swept across the line as the race leader, but Leo Robinson now in front, Graham.
Yeah, and the Christian Brooks being told to give back the position. Now that should be the position to Al-Kubaisi, because she was the car ahead. So against the instructions being given from race control, and trouble in pit lane here.
How have they ended up there? Because it's way too early to be pitting at the end of lap 1, but forced to do so.
Well, there was damage to the front of one of the Virage cars.
That was the 12 ASM Motorsport, Ruben Hage.
But one of the Virage cars,
Jude Peters, has to be, because he hasn't crossed the line yet. So a total nightmare this weekend for Jude Peters and Vic Stevens, as now Hamda El-Kubaisi is given that place back again. She'll say, well, I had the lead taken from me, but everyone's been shuffled down because of Leo Robinson's progress. That might be the matter settled now, though.
That should be the matter settled in terms of race control. What's also happened there, with that move having happened, is Roman Berkler is right on the tail of that pair and now up to 4th place.
So clearly Jude Peters and Ruben Hage have clashed somehow coming out of Luffield, or maybe the approach to Woodcote. And that will remain a mystery until we can see some replays. Dive bombing now, the 33 of Christian Brooks, is Roman Butler. So he has made a tremendous move on Eco Segre, although it wasn't fully clean.
Safety car.
And now Butler is up to 3rd position, and he did that, I think, before the safety car was announced. Yeah. So he now runs 3rd and ahead again of all of his championship rivals. This is all he needs to be doing, getting the points finishes and finishing ahead of the number 6 car. There is a moot point in the respect that the contact was made with the 6, though, so I'm sure that's going to be investigated.
Well, we'll have a look. I mean, the number 12, now what happened here? This was Roman Berkler's move up the inside, so he was not involved in the contact. Oh, was he? Yes, he was. So there was 3-way contact there. That's the 3, the 6, and the 19.
Poulet.
Also a victim of the mess afterwards was the 12 that suffered damage.
Already with damage. Right, so he's brought Jude Peters in the pit lane with him, and Peters may be trying to... I don't quite understand how Jude Peters ended up there, unless he'd already spun out into the pit lane entry road, and then Ruben Hage arrives on the scene with his own damage and finds it blocked. In that respect, Ruben Hage did very well to get into pit lane on that lap in the ASM Motorsport car that surely will go no further.
The margins are tiny, and in this instance, it didn't pay off for any of those, 5 cars involved there. It was a perfectly legitimate attempt to get alongside from Roman Berkler, but the gap just closed, and there will be a position to be argued who was at fault at that point. What we've not seen is what happened here. That car is sitting down at the right rear.
Yeah. Well, I do think Jude Peters was further up the road than Ruben Hage. Hage has had his moment, unless they've clashed as well. I didn't fully understand how the 12 car ended up spinning independently, and therefore where this damage has come from, the damaged wheel on the front left and possibly suspension with it.
What is possible is that checked up by those 3 cars clashing, there was a further clash that we didn't see.
Yeah. yes, in the traffic behind.
Pretty clearly, the spin from the number 12 car was caused by the damage. That was called, well, the cause, we don't know. The effect was trouble at one corner of the 12 car and a spin.
On the grid, did Ruben Hage and Jude Peters start in a similar position? Same side of the grid, but one in 5th and one in 11th spot. Can't, from this angle, work out how much, if anything, is damage on the Jude Peters car, but the fact he can't move it from pit lane entry is meaning that this is a safety car.
Let's look behind if we can. What can we see behind these three?
There's the 12.
There's the 12, so nowhere near the virage car, which is just coming into. Then he gets clattered.
With Jude Peters.
So remarkably, it was a third incident.
Yeah. And that's why Jude Peters can't go anywhere, because he's got damage on the rear right now. So it was rear right of 2017 Virage and Jude Peters, front left of Ruben Hage. And weirdly then, they find one another in the pit lane entry road a couple of corners later. And whereas Ruben can get into the pit lane just about, the damage on the 27 is too much, and this is going to have to be a lift.
So to correct my initial viewing of it, it wasn't damage. It was caused by the spin. It was damage caused by the clash. So nowhere to go for the 12 car with car spinning ahead of him. That put him into a spin, and in recovering, he then collects Jude Peters.
Yeah, he was trying to pull out a line, wasn't he, to no longer have the delay. We got underway in a much quieter fashion, actually. And Hamda El-Kubaisi, after that great qualifying lap yesterday, she does the opening stint, but gets swamped early on by Christian Brooks, who ran a touch wide coming out of Copse, but the much better run came from Leo Sammy Robinson in the number 1 car, but he couldn't maintain that speed, or just couldn't find the track space at Maggots and Beckett's, so stayed in line in 3rd. Meanwhile, August Turbo was having a good fight with Riccitelli, who was actually ahead of the Italian going through Beckett's on the opening lap. To the high side of Hamda El-Kubaisi was Christian Brooks as they reached Stowe. And this is the manoeuvre that meant that he then had to give the place back again, because he was well off the track, but it gave him forward momentum into Vale and Club. And then whilst all that was happening, Hamda El-Kubaisi up the curb, losing momentum a little, losing traction. There was a hit further back, actually, in JS2 R, which we also missed. And that was a spin for possibly, so it was the 17 car of Henrik Cruz. And then this three-way tussle, one into another, and resulting in a big spin for the 19 car. But then the aftermath saw a clash between Ruben Hage and Jude Peters, with the front left corner of the Hage car heavily damaged, rear right on the Peters Virage car. And Peters, his tyre going down so rapidly, the suspension that buckled, that he couldn't get into pit lane properly and was stranded in the pit lane entry road, now being recovered. But yes, the incident that involved Roman Backler on the inside and Nico Segre in the middle and Mathis Poulet on the outside, that will be checked by race control and could have championship implications, because Roman Backler running 3rd at this stage behind Leo Robinson and behind Hamda El-Kubaisi. But if Backler's given a penalty for initiating all of that, that could certainly have a difference in the championship. A championship that currently Backler leads by 7 points over Nico Segre and Max Dodds. It doesn't help the Segre car, which has fallen down to 10th position, depending on where Backler may end up if he does have to serve a penalty. But that's a lot of ifs and buts and maybes at this stage.
Just tell you, Jude Peters, Ligier, still with Jude aboard, by the way, on the back of the flatbed, passing us now and is clear of pit in. So that's one reason removed as to why the safety car would stay out at this point. We've 10 minutes into the race, because of course the clock has not stopped. So Leo Sammy Robinson leads the race from Hamda El-Kubaisi, Roman Backler, Christian Brooks, Nathan Biel, good to see him back in the championship, Andre Vieira, Julien Schell, Michael Bulcichelli, Jacques Nicolet and Nico Segre. That's the top 10, all JS P4s. Then the first of the JS2Rs, it's the LR Motorsport car of Simone Riccitelli, with the delayed 19 JS P4 of Mathis Poulet, and then 23 Events Racing August Turbo, Steve Paulette in VSF Sports 18, and Noah Dacuna in Les Deux Arbres, number 50 JS2R. They are the top 4. ASM Motorsports number 12 car on pit lane, and I don't think we're going to see that car rejoin, and Jude Peters out of the race in the damaged 2017 Virage car. So rather oddly, the 3 cars that initiated the chaos in the complex have all continued. The 2 cars that were caught up in it have not.
No option, by the way, to Pauline Schoffs, who is the race director, for a full course yellow here, should she wanted to go full course yellow, because they don't have the mechanism of measuring speeds and therefore policing it. So it's a safety car, or that's it, basically, our only option. And the safety car, speaking of which, retreats on this lap. So with 48 minutes still to go, already making the move to race speed is Leo Robinson, rather than choosing to back the field up in any manner. Of course, once you go, you have to go anyway. There's no element, there can't be any element of brake testing the rest of the field. Hamda El Kubaisi seemed to react pretty well to that.
She did, kept a reasonable gap there. 0.4 of a second as they crossed the line. Roman Berkler a little further back in third. And after that, you can cover them all with a fairly small blanket. So back up to full speed, and immediately the fight is here between the number 44 car, Andre Vieira, and Julien Schell, all over the back there for 6th place. But there's a group of 5 getting away here, Johnny, as the 2 behind battle side by side.
Yeah, that's a really good dice, isn't it, between Andre Vieira and the man who's just about got the advantage, Julien Schell. Schell called as the race leader through that next timing beam, which is the end of sector 1. Schell just ahead. No, he's still not quite got the move done, though.
Almost got it done, didn't he? But Julien Schell, Pegasus Racing team owner and team leader, still very much a driver manager, ex Le Mans racer, European Le Mans Series racer, sometime WC race starter as well. Lovely guy. Runs a tight ship at Pegasus Racing, and they've made their plans for their future with this at its core. Multiple cars in the championship. Incident involving cars 19 and 6 at turn 16. Investigation causing a collision. So that is not going to involve the question of whether Roman Berkler was involved in that at this stage, at least. Whether or not that
he's
comes
not
into
listed.
consideration.
He's not listed, but I wouldn't say that he's not involved in that investigation somehow.
Not named.
Yeah.
Not named as a suspect.
I just wonder whether the way that those messages work, they only have the option of including 2 cars, and when you have the 3rd and the 4th car, it might be quite difficult to put that on the screen. But 19 and 6 it is.
I'd put it this way, if watching Crime Watch, there's no picture of Roman Berkler on screen.
No, there isn't. But I feel like we might be including his name in some decisions later. We will wait and see. But at the moment, it just involves Iko Segre and Matisse Poulet. Leo Sammy Robinson leads the way, though. This 16-year-old talent from single-seater racing most recently here in the UK, so we'll have an experience of the Silverstone circuit. Not sure whether that was necessary on the Grand Prix track. It could well have been. And also some racing in Denmark as well in F4. Seasons before that involved karting, so he's not long been racing full-size cars, and even less time behind the wheel of a 2-seater type prototype as the JS P4 is. It's considered the entry rung of the ladder, if you like, the lowest part of the ACO rule pyramid, and a great opportunity to well, experience some Grade 1 circuits, some Grand Prix venues, and it sets you up perfectly then for potentially a run in the Michelin Le Mans Cup in the seasons to come, ELMS in the future, and who knows, the World Endurance Championship eventually. That's the idea. Down the Hamilton Straight now for the race leader Robinson from Hamda El Kubaisi, who is still very much present. Roman Berkler in 3rd, then Christian Brooks, who started on the front row in the teal and black 360 competition car. In JS2 R, although August Turbo on that opening lap had got ahead of Simone Riccitelli, the Italian is back in the lead of that race now. A win earlier on for Riccitelli in the LR Motorsport, stands for Luca Riccitelli, by the way, at car number 7. So some useful points back earlier on, and now into a championship lead by a narrow 4 points.
Yeah, Hamda El Kubaisi keeping race leader honest here. She goes through with a purple sector 2 here. So within a tenth of the race pace at the moment of race leader Sammy Robinson. Half a second the gap. It is a group of 4 getting away now from Nathan Biel. There's a further 4.5 seconds back from that group. It is leading a further group of 4, or was it 5? Incident involving cars 41 and 17 under review.
Nathan Biel looks like he's got a problem. Biel's car was very slow on the main straight there, the home straight, and was immediately passed by Vieira, Michel and Kelly. So the 60 car almost looking like a bit of a back marker, but he is still on the lead lap, and all of a sudden the pace of that car's dropped massively, yeah, just at the start of the hangar straight. I
think he's just pulled to one side as well, knowing he's got a problem too. Fastest lap of the race this time goes to Christian Brooks in 4th place, by the way, at 2:05.301. So we've basically got a couple of hunting packs here, haven't we? But I agree with you. Looks to me like Biel knows he's got a bit of an issue here. His lap times are the 2:09s compared to 2:07s and even 2:05s ahead of him.
Don't think he was recovering from, no, he wasn't recovering from an incident on the previous lap, a spin or anything like that, because it was 2:09 as you say, but then lost a further 3 seconds in the first sector alone. Here is August Turbo in the all-black 23 events racing number 57, still with the leader Simone Riccitelli in sight, but the much bigger concern for Turbo is Stephen Paulette on his tail. Remember, Paulette providing this platform for Lucas Papat to score well in the championship. Paulette didn't do the first number of races, the first half of the season pretty much. Now the 60 car, even worse, troubles, virtually stopped at Farm. So had come through Abbey, past the wing, through the right-hander at Abbey, and then the car almost parked up at Farm, but not on the racing line. And a big question as to whether that 60 car can even get to the end of this lap in the hands of Nathan Biel, who is normally rapid. So it's a real shame that Biel probably won't get to the end of this stint, and therefore Gregorio Bertocco won't get half an hour or so further running at Silverstone.
Fastest lap of the race goes to Hamza Al-Khabaisi, closing the gap at the moment on the race leader. So cracking form for the Emirati driver, pole sitter. Covering. Oh, what was it? What happened here? That was the Pegasus racing car.
That's a pass for second place, isn't it? Paulette now, oh yes, he is ahead of August Turbo, who doesn't seem to have the same sort of speed as we've seen him have at many other venues this year. So Stephen Paulette down the inside of August Turbo, who's also lost a position to the Pegasus Racing Yuki Tanaka car that lost a wheel in this morning's race, and at real high speed as well, heading down the Wellington Straight.
2 rapid-fire messages on the screens, by the way. One says, correction, cars 22, 19 and 6 under investigation, and now a drive-through penalty for Roman Berkler.
There we are, homing straight into sight. I did rather suspect that. So we didn't get the mugshot on the message, yep, but he is definitely mentioned now. The problem is, for all of us, he is really spicing up this lead battle.
Yeah,
it's going to be out of it shortly.
It is a shame, but there you go. That's what race controller determined is the problem. And all of a sudden, Roman Berkler understands why at the start of the season, when they go in for the driver headshots, they take one from the side as well.
Now, the last thing that Berkler wants in the closing stages of this race, we've still got 40 minutes to go, but that is a, well, I suppose actually he would like a safety car, but if he'd still been under safety car and he'd need to serve a drive-through penalty, then he'd be dropping right to the back of the order. Now that the cars have spaced out a little bit, this may not be as damaging as it might be. And once you've served the penalty, if there's then a safety car later on, then at least he'll be right with the field. But remember, Berkler, being on a solo drive, will have to spend 5 more seconds in pit lane compared to the 2-driver lineups.
And what this will do is drop him behind Nico Segre, his championship rival. Here he comes, taking the drive-through immediately. 1 penalty point, by the way, as well for Roman Berkler. There's a bit of a message there, just to say, OK, we know you're quick. You don't need to prove it at every corner.
Yeah. Yeah, ordinarily that would have been an okay manoeuvre, but 2 cars, bit of a no-no. Here's Amda Al-Kubaisi with a cracking run on Leo Robinson. Gets her front wheels level with Robinson's rears. On the edge of adhesion, almost got ahead, but not quite. It was called an overtake on the graphics, in fairness.
Yep.
And how late can Robinson brake and still make the corner? Well, about that late, in fairness, because he did get through Vale and now on to Club. But this is drawing Christian Brooks back into the fight as well for 360 competition.
It is, but the other thing here is she's forcing him to go defensive here. She's forcing him to use everything he's got, including the grip from the Michelin tyres. And any pressure she can exert here might pay off as the life is drained out of the rubber at each corner later in the race, when it'll be her sister on the attack.
Yeah, so Amna Al-Kubaisi affording herself a smile with the Team Virage mechanic crew and the strategists on the pit wall, but I'm sure there is a tinge of nerves as well for Amna Al-Kubaisi, sister of Hamdar. And they will have to switch around in the not too distant future, because we've just done 22 minutes of this race. 5 more minutes to go before the pit lane is open. Do they choose to go slightly longer into that? Now, dive bombing the number 3 car of Michael Bulzachelli is Matisse Poulet. Remember, one of these cars is on a recovery drive after that spin, after contact, which we can now have established the 22 car of Roman Buckler effectively caused. But that was a very late manoeuvre and not a lot that Bulzachelli could have done about that. Eco Segre, meanwhile, is ahead now of Roman Buckler, who has rejoined actually right behind his championship rival, and the gap is 5 seconds.
Well, we saw the form of Leo Sammy Robinson this morning. This is impressive stuff from him. But equally impressive from Amda Al-Kubaisi, having been passed. She's not dropped more than 0.6 of a second since being passed earlier in this race. One of her best stints in this season so far. And again, this is about learning. Who knows what next? Bumped into her dad, Khaled Al-Kubaisi, previous race winner in GTE AM in the FI World Endurance Championship. And I think Khaled fancies a bit of a crack at racing with both his daughters, and maybe as soon as later this year. I think that would be a great thing to see. No doubt whatsoever, I think he'd love to have that opportunity to race father and 2 daughters at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, and why shouldn't they? That'd be a cracking thing, wouldn't it?
Too right, yes. And actually, when we're talking about Emirati pole sitters here at Silverstone, 1 or 2 people said, was that a first yesterday? Well, I immediately thought of their father, but then I was thinking, was he in the era where actually the bronze didn't need to do the qualifying? It would still have been counted as a pole, but it wasn't him that did the lap, you know? So, but that's still something I've had to search out in the future, maybe this next week. But it's a hotbed of driving talent, has been for a good few years now. And venues like the Dubai Autodrome and Yas Marina.
Great to see it. I mean, for all sorts of reasons. Well, one, that there's been world-class venues, then COVID intervened and a lot of racing that otherwise would have gone to Southeast Asia went to the Gulf. Yeah. And whilst that was a make-to-amend operation, oh my gosh, we've seen talent emerging and interest emerging and crowds coming. And I'm sure we're going to see more again for the Ligier Le Mans Series this year, with a record entry, 48 cars for Sepang and for the whole season. And I know already there are going to be multiple other requests for additional entries for the races at Dubai Autodrome and at Yas Marina in Abu Dhabi, just down the road, in the capital of the Emirates, in February.
Well, not giving Leo Robinson an inch here, Hamda Al-Kubaisi, and again has a little look down the inside. This does appear to be where her car is strongest, and she will get the place at Stowe Corner. Down the inside at Stowe to take the race lead. Leo Robinson looked to try and defend that far too late, and I'm not sure he's going to be close enough to get back ahead. Oh, but now there's contact in the JS2 Rs, and the 17 car could possibly have got out of the throttle a little bit more readily than that. But the 41 at least, although going through the gravel, Florian Thiele is able to rejoin, hopefully with not too much damage. Still got a minute and a half to go until the pit lane opening, so it will be about that before they can assess the damage at VSF Sports on the side of Thiele's car.
That car was sideways for a long time, and my guess is the all 4 tyres are going to be pretty much threatening bits now.
Yeah, that's the worry.
And damage as well, you can see to the front bodywork, at least briefly there, to the car on the inside.
So it was Henrik Kruse in the Petrogold car that was doing the clipping and then the bit of the pushing, and actually that's the car to benefit from both of those going off. Cindy Goudet for M Racing now up 2 places to 6th.
Car 41, by the way, 10 seconds added to the next pit stop, plus 1 penalty point for start infringement. That was one of those cars involved in the incident we've just seen. And indeed, that incident we've just seen is now under review as well. And Al-Khabaisi deals with the traffic. He's edging out the gap here. Well, here's a marker of how far we've come in terms of the global significance of sports car racing. That was an Emirati female driver overtaking an Algerian.
Yeah, I know.
Fantastic.
It's great, isn't it? And, you know, this is the sort of international attraction that the Ligier European Series and the ASO as a whole now have. And if you can't sustain a run in single-seaters, then the 2-seaters are just waiting there, and they're just as competitive. And you can actually share some of the costs if you go with the 2-driver lineup too. 17, which was involved in that clash at Luffield and Woodcote, now struggling, whereas Florian Thiele, his pace is still pretty good. So as Henrik Kruse rather shot himself in the foot with that moment for the Petrogold car, possibly bent the steering, I suppose, on the front left corner, because the 2 cars were attacked for a long, long time there, and that collision is under investigation.
It is 33 car of Christian Brooks is right with this group. These 3 have just pulled away, and that's come as a result of the drive-through penalty for the 4th member of that train. And Roman Berkler back in 8th place now, 21 seconds off this lead. Car 17, Kruse warning flag for track limits we're hearing now. And Christian Brooks tried up the inside there. This is going to help Al-Khabaisi, because all of a sudden Leo Sammy Robinson is having to be defensive. They've got the slower car ahead of them. And let's hope he's got the message that the lead group are approaching. Christian Brooks taking a look.
I heard the squeal of tyres. Is that Henrik Kruse having a spin as well? Yes, it was.
He's got damage, hasn't he?
But just in time, actually, for this top 3 in JS P4 to get through safely. It might be that all 3 are going to pit. No, Hamilton's going to stay out, judging by the trajectory of her car. But Leo Robinson will dive in. The pit lane is now open for your 1 stop.
I think we may have the potential for rain here any time now.
Well,
looking out the windows we've got, and you can see there the dark clouds are beginning to gather.
Yeah, our little commentary position not only gives us a great view of pit entry row, but also the skies above, and that cloud has been building for the last half an hour pretty much. And I was just wondering whether it might be a question of when and not if in this Ligier European Series race. So Hamda Al-Khabaisi staying out for a little longer. I think generally this weekend she's been showing more speed than Amnar, so run it to the very last possible moment. Now some debris on the track as well. That might be, it is on the main straight, the start and finish line.
That's from the 44 car, 2 bits.
After a run through the gravel, which rather tore up the splitter. So car 44 being driven by Andre Vieira, and will continue to be driven by him into the 2nd stint.
Car 41, a drive-through penalty and a penalty point for causing the collision with car 17. That's the rather bulldozing manoeuvre we saw earlier.
August Turbo, 2nd in JS2 R, ahead of Stephen Palet still. And Turbo will stay on board for the next pit stop. However, Palet will get out and hand over to Lucas Papat, adding another element to this race. Riccitelli, who leads this category, is a significant chunk of the road further down, by the way, although he has just been warned about track limits on this lap. He is 6 seconds clear of August Turbo and Stephen Palet.
There's debris being talked about on track. We've seen that down at turn 18. There might, though, be just a big enough gap for that to be grabbed. Easy for me to say, sitting here in a comfy chair. But we'll see whether or not that's been deemed to be safe to do so.
And that incident that was being looked at, we haven't had a decision on that yet, have we? Although we have. Sorry,
yep.
I missed that. And I know that you explained it. So that was pretty obvious, whose fault that was. The 57 cars being warned by about track limits. Well, as I suggested, the little orange blob appearing next to August Turbo's name regarding the first sector of this lap. The same goes for Simone Riccitelli, though, as well. Meanwhile, this is the jostling for the rejoining cars that had stopped initially. Remember, Handa stayed out, whereas those two in behind her came in. And
the Farage car has come out ahead. Brandon McCorgan has come out ahead with a 2:06 pit stop ahead of Michael Bonzachelli in the number 3 LR Motorsport car and Eco Seagrey in that group. Just looking at the timings here. We'll have to just wait for a moment before they clear. We've got double yellows at turn 17, 18. That will be for recovery of the debris. I'm sure of that.
So, yes, the number 1 car of Leo Robinson at the time, now Brandon McCohen, did stop, and they will have taken 125 seconds, hopefully, in pit lane. Yes, slightly more than that, but that's okay. Well, 126 seconds, in fact.
I can tell you the double yellows have cleared at turn 18, so well done to our marshals here at Silverstone Circuit.
2 more minutes of the pit lane window open. So where is Hamda El-Kubaisi?
Turn 15. She's
just done track limits as well, though, as has Christian Brooks. So these are just warnings at this stage. You're allowed 4 before an official warning on number 5.
It's the top 3 on track at the moment. That is Hamda El-Kubaisi, Christian Brooks and Julian Schell. The only cars yet to pit. They're going to do so, I'm sure, right now. Down the pit lane comes our race leader, cracking. In fact, one of them has gone through. That's
okay. They've already stopped. That's the number 1 car, isn't it?
Because I think you might be right.
After the pit stop, it's actually put Brandon McCohen in the same position visually as the 1 car was, but they're actually a lap behind.
Right, so he's got a lap plus this pit stop. Well, let's just mark what's been a really great stint there from Hamda El-Kubaisi. He's greeted by her sister. So Amna will climb aboard the number 88 car. Pole position, remember. Led, was passed and passed back for the lead. I think she will reflect post-race that that's a career highlight.
Oh, too right, yes. Remember, had to deal with an overtake where her rival was actually well off the track, so couldn't get too flustered by that, couldn't get invested in it, realised that place will probably come back to me. In the meantime, Leo Robinson had skipped ahead, of course, and actually got himself a bit of a lead, but she reeled him in and was able to overtake as well before the pit stops.
Car 17, 10-second stop and go and 2 penalty points for causing collision at turn 17.
Which is Luffield 2.
That was the incident with the 41.
In fact, on our track map, the whole of Luffield is labelled as turn 17. 16 Brooklyn, 17 Luffield, 18 Woodcote. So, we're still waiting to see where Amna El-Kubaisi rejoins. Also, the 33 car, which will be Christian Brooks out and Christopher Preen in. Julian Schell's brought the 29 car in, and there won't be a driver change there, so he'll have to spend 5 extra seconds compared to the 2 driver lineups in pit lane.
We're watching this battle in JS2 R. I'm keeping an eye on the tracker to see the number 1 car now coming into the complex turn 16 and waiting to see there. I'm just seeing on one of our monitors the 88 car is rolling now as the number 1 car comes through Luffield. Where are they going to emerge? I think the 88 car has got this.
And now it's a question of how the 2 new drivers' pace compare, because we know that, well, very, very close were Leo Robinson and Hamda El-Kubaisi. Amna now back into the race, and behind Brandon McCohen running second.
Ahead of Chris Preen.
Ahead of Chris Preen. So this is the same order that they came into pit lane, although the number 1 car pitted a lap ahead.
But with bigger gaps.
Yes.
So, and that's come courtesy of a pretty much perfect stop from Team Virage's number 88 car. 2:05 on pit lane, a second quicker than the sister number 1 car, which is the blue and black car that is pursuing. And if anything, Brandon McCorgan should be more worried at the moment about Chris Preen.
So spot on the money with a 2:05 for the 88 and race leading car. Lucas Papin versus Simone Riccitelli. Remember, the Papin car got the 5-second advantage in the pit stop phase. 2 drivers versus 1 in Riccitelli. And now he's trying to pressurise Lucas into an early mistake before he can settle into his stride. Just there in the door mirror, then thought about popping to the other side of the track and diving down the inside of Copse, but that's a very fast approach into turn 1, which is a term I hate, Copse corner, and now heading up to Maggots and Beckett. But Riccitelli is quicker than Papin, I think it's fair to say, but he's got to find the ideal position to overtake.
Copse corner, it always was and always will be. Silverstone, long time home of British motorsport. Tradition matters all the way down the lexicon. There they come, all the way down the Hanger Straights, and it's nose to tail between the top 2 in JS2 R. August Turbo not that far behind, side by side. Not sure there's a way around there. Is there? Is there? Can he find the grip? No, not this time. But what has that done to force the race leader into a suboptimal line? Not enough at the moment.
Yeah, but like you say, Papin's not on the racing line. He's deep in defensive mode, and this might cost him ultimately good speed in the end and car position out of club. So he's able to fend off the approaches of Riccitelli, who can't go as quickly as he was doing in the opening stint when he led the race and was dictating the pace. And here comes August Turbo, which is the nightmare scenario for Riccitelli, because if Turbo can get ahead of Riccitelli, that changes everything in the championship again.
Yeah, so top 3 pretty much nose to tail now. In fact, side by side the lead, but Turbo has used this battle to get onto terms with both the cars ahead, and who's to say we might not see a little bit of leapfrog here.
So what's Turbo's run down the Wellington straight like? He knows he'll have to strike earlier rather than later, because there's no telling how long Riccitelli's going to be held up by Lucas Papin. Now Riccitelli running the outside line of Brooklands. It might have to be the outside line at Luffield, but he'll have to be wary of August Turbo. Does close the door just in time. But Papin, as fast as he can be, is the cork in the bottle at the moment. And were Riccitelli able to wriggle free, then Turbo might have a real challenge on his hands. But at the moment, he's kind of locked in prey. And can Turbo get ahead of the Italian in this phase of the race?
This is the top 3 in JS2R. They're separated by 0.6 of a second. It's 4.5 tenths. Al-Khabaisi ahead of Brendan McCorkin, because he's got onto terms with Al-Khabaisi. And there's a bit of a sideways moment. Was the contact? I didn't see it, but that's caused a change in the lead. Is it going to cause a change for second place? Not quite yet. Might see that one from a different angle.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I couldn't say categorically, but I think it was more so Papin just losing briefly the back of the car.
I saw. That's what I thought I saw.
Yeah, but as you say, different angle might have proven some more evidence. Here's Turbo, door handle to door handle with Lucas Papin, the shared car with Stephen Paulette, and Turbo's not quite got that move done, because we're going left next into the Vale. And the green and white car stays ahead, but messes up the corner, and Turbo to the outside line at club should bag second, and does exactly that. So that's good for Turbo and for Danish fans of this young star in number 57, because he can stay in touch with Simone Riccitelli, the new leader in JS2R.
So this is back sweeping back to our overall leader, the JS P4 class battle. It's getting very dark out there. Side by side now, down the Hanger Straights, and it's Brendan McCorkin to the outside, Amna Al-Khabaisi to the inside. Who's going to come through this one, the leader?
So McCohen lining up Amna Al-Khabaisi, not going to get through there though. And Al-Khabaisi well over the curb, may just have kept the slither of Michelin tyre the correct side of the white line. She again, no doubt feeling the heat now from Brandon McCohen, who has had experience of these cars in 2024, but he also ran in LMP3 last time out at Spa with Breton Racing. So now through Abbey and Farm, really fast this sequence of corners these days into Village, the much slow down right-hand hairpin.
And there's going to be careful here. Track limits in both Sector 1 and Sector 2 on this lap in defence of that lead. Track limits as well for the chasing McGugan in Sector 1. Roman Berkler, meanwhile, after that drive-through penalties, made his way back up to 7th. Clears Sector 2 on this current lap.
Here's the lead change, though. Much better run coming out of Village, the Loop and Aintree. And down the inside will go Brandon McCochen for the lead of this second Ligier European Series race at Silverstone. Made the move stick into Brooklands, but that was maybe just a slight delay in the throttle application coming out of Aintree at the start of the Wellington Straight. And in fairness, Amnar was edging left, a bit further left, but knew she couldn't go much further for fear of pushing Brandon McCochen off the track. And now the Irishman may well disappear up the road. We'll wait and see, because Hamza Al-Kubaisi did very, very well to hang on to the coattails of Leo Robinson in that very car. But Brandon to the top, Amnar Al-Kubaisi second. Christopher Preen is at the moment for the Emirati at a safe distance at 4 seconds. Roman Berkler making good progress, as you've pointed out, with those absolute best sector times.
Well, something just happened on that previous lap, because Vincent Boutellier and Julien Schell both much slower on that lap, and Roman Berkler, and for that matter Max Dodds, have both picked up 2 places on that last lap. So I wonder whether or not we had a bit of a moment between Julien Schell and Vincent Boutellier.
First and second places not really separating too much, which again is encouraging for Team Virage. They are teammates, let's not forget. They're in very different paint schemes, but they run out of the same Team Virage awning.
But as always with these forms of sports car racing, there have been no team orders here, other than don't hit your teammates.
Yeah, and that's because the Polish outfit want as few repairs as possible heading to the next race meeting, the final race meeting of the season in Portimao in a few weeks' time, middle of October.
Oh, trouble for, is that Julien Schell?
It is the 16 car.
So car 16.
That is David Cossonel. It's the car that started by Julien Schell. My apologies.
No, Schell's in his own car. Schell's in 29.
Oh, he's jumped around this year, hasn't he?
But yeah, today. Cossonel shares with Yuki Tanaka. And that car's had no luck today, because it lost the wheel, remember, down the Wellington Straight. And the wheel departed at rapid speed at Brooklands.
So yellow at turn 17, 18. This might be a safety car.
Yeah.
It's off the racing line. All pit stops are done, but that's not to say that they'll want the pits entry.
Please, car 16, advise me if you can rejoin. Car 16, advise me if you can rejoin.
The voice of Pauline Schoffs.
That is not a safe place for anybody to go and intervene without an intervention. If you see, follow my lexicon.
And the second time in this race where we've had a car stranded in pit lane entry road after Jude Peters with a damaged car.
That's rueful luck from Yuki Tanaka.
Oh, and here's the rain. We did say that it was likely that it may arrive before the end of this race. And the fact that there are yellows, well, just at one corner at this stage. But are we going to have to go safety car anyway because of that stranded car in pit lane? We can't go full course yellow. That's not in the regulations for the Ligier European Series. Windscreen wipers on, and it is a safety car.
Yeah. Safety car deployed, and leader to slow down. The pit entry is closed. The pit entry is closed for at least 1 lap. I have a car stuck in the pit entry. Leader to slow down, please.
So even if you did want to come in and change to wet weather tyres, you cannot.
Yeah. But I think the reasons for going safety car were twofold in the end. Yes, the 16 car of David Cossonel stopped, but also the fact that the rain has arrived and in different amounts, possibly.
So pit entry is closed. I have Marshall on track at pit entry.
Different amounts around the circuit, because it's quite a big footprint, this Silverstone Grand Prix circuit. It spans 2 British English counties. And yeah, it's very damp indeed down at the Buckinghamshire end of the circuit. So it's Stowe and Vale and Club Corner. And certainly caution required for these drivers, in some cases pretty inexperienced, particularly when we get a weather change like this.
So luckless, the number 16 car here at Silverstone. So the car guy branding on the flank of that car. What are we looking at here? This is the 41. Immediately spray, so it's heavy rain at the back of the circuit. Is that car going off? No.
No, because the turn in at Stowe was okay, but I think just to illustrate how much rain there is on the Hanger Straight and down at turn 7 at Stowe.
Leader to slow down, please.
So the safety car driver looking to pick up Brandon McCaughey as the race leader. Now going over the start and finish line.
Which looks way less wet than down at the Hanger Straight. Which makes it even more challenging, doesn't it? 14
Pit entry is closed. Pit entry is closed. I have cars reported to the steward for entering the pit lane.
Yeah, we've got multiple cars coming in to pit lane, and it was very clear from the race director who's come in. Pietro Ferri has come in, Andre Vieira has come in from 8th and 9th, and there you go. And is that Cindy Goudet? It's Cindy Goudet as well, and I'm afraid there's going to be problems for all of those cars. They will say, didn't feel it was safe, needed to come out wet weather rubber. You heard it more than once from the race director.
Yep.
Pit entry was closed, as we saw. Marshall still pushing that 16 car down pit lane. So I'm afraid these three have got bad news coming, and soon.
There is a red light, and I think it's actually on the outside of the circuit. So as you round Luffield, it's in vision there just before Woodcote. But there's a red light to say that to refer to the pit lane. As to its exact location,
So
I'm not sure this
from now
weekend.
the track is declared wet. From now the track is declared wet.
And by the way, they've also put wet weather tyres on before the track has been declared wet. So there's all sorts of problems heading the way of LR Motorsport, ASM Motorsport and M Racing. Finally, the 16 car clears the white line at pit entry, just being pushed by us now.
And I'm just aware that Pauline might pop in with another message in a moment. The reason why it wasn't declared wet when the rain first hit was because the pit lane entry was closed.
Yes.
So you don't declare a track being wet and therefore an opportunity to change to wet weather tyres
if you can't
until
do it.
It is safe to do so. So there were a number of reasons why you couldn't get, or you weren't allowed to enter pit lane there, backed up by several bits of evidence. But
I think we're about to find out how heavy a penalty can be doled out, because I don't think that's going to be a small penalty for them.
It brings Marshall's safety into question.
Number one.
You know, they are here to make sure that the racing can happen, let us not forget. So when they're trying to push a car to a safe location to make sure that the race can continue with still time on the clock.
And by the way, that car was not yet at the control line.
The pit entry is now
They're coming
open.
in
The pit
fast.
entry is now open.
So pit entry is open, so the cars that choose to come in for wet weather tyres can do so. I can tell you the safety car is down at turn 14, about to come down the Wellington Straight, so some little way before the train behind the safety car will reach pit entry. But I think I'm reasonably confident of saying that you can ignore at the moment, for the purposes of competitive running, the 3, the 44 and the 68. Because I think they're going to be doled out a penalty that would make their eyes bleed.
Unfortunately, yes, but we totally understand. We totally understand the reasons why, and they were explained several times as well. What I can't remember is that whether the JS2Rs and indeed the JS P4s have a central locking wheel nut, or whether it's when you are allowed to change tyres, whether that's quite a long-winded affair, as in undo 5 studs and then have to redo them again.
I thought it was centre lock.
Could be centre lock. Could be centre lock. I just genuinely cannot remember, because I don't think we've had a wet-dry race all season in the Ligiers, at least.
I can see the
just slightly out of shot.
There we go.
I'm not sure they are, you know. Certainly on the JS2Rs.
Very NASCAR, if not.
Yeah, and you have to be quick on the trigger. But, well, Brandon McCaughey not willing to give up track position because there's only 10 minutes to go. If he pits, then everybody else knows either to stay out or to also pit. But as the leader, it's a tricky decision.
Yeah, and who has come in? Jacques Nicolet has come in. No messing about with Jacques. He's coming in for wet weather rubber.
Simone Riccitelli having some fun out there as well. Maybe the report from drivers out there is that, yes, significant parts of the track are very wet, but other bits are still bone dry, and actually putting wet weather tyres on is going to delay you. Just that we will live with those damper patches on the Hanger Straight and at Stowe as well. Maggots and Beckett's, it's still coming down at a fair rate.
I think getting worse down the back end of the circuit there. They may be gambling that this race may be called because of the conditions down at the Hanger Straight. They may be gambling that and not prepared to give up track position. Well, Jack Nicholay, meanwhile, has gambled on, I'm not going to do any better on the tyres I've got. I'm going to go wet weather tyres. If they restart it, I'm going to win this race.
Yeah. And for those wondering, there are no intermediate tyres in this category, just as there are no inters in Le Mans Cup.
It's an endangered species, not in or in ELMS either, or for that matter, in the FI World Endurance Championship.
Yep. Yep.
It's an endangered species now, a intermediate tyre.
The intermediate, I think, that lasted longest was for the old GTE AM, where we did used to have 2 types of wet weather tyre, but even that's gone now as well. So, yeah, good phrase, endangered species.
That's Johnny Palmer there in his rocking chair, remembering days of yore.
Oh, I remember
intermediates. Safety car, 8 minutes to go in this race. It's getting increasingly gloomy. It's pretty bright here at start-finish. And not a lot of rain that we can see out of our windows, but pretty clearly around the back end of this track it's significantly wetter. And I think that's exactly what's going on, Johnny. I think they're waiting to see whether or not race control determine that it's wise to continue. I think it's raceable.
Yeah.
But do you want all these cars on pit lane for wets with 7-8 minutes to go in a development series? That, I think, may be the telling part of this.
I think, yes, its position on the ACO ladder, if you like, where people are learning, plying their trade in the early stages of what we hope very long careers in both the drivers and the teams in that regard. But it's tricky on a track that not necessarily everybody knows well, because a first for the Ligiers in their short history.
August Turbo has, though, pitted.
Interesting. Okay, so
safety car staying out.
Yeah, and with with a pit stop, it's not going to be the 2 minutes that everybody had to do. But nevertheless, you're going to potentially lose it. No, you wouldn't lose a lap, because these are much slower lap times, aren't they? Nearly 4 minutes. So they will hope that they stay on the lead lap and can condense the field then. And if they do get going, well, they'll lose out on a fair number of points.
Well, August Turbo will be on wets, I'm sure. And he has returned to the track ahead of the safety car. Will come round, if he's got the grip to do so, to join the back of this queue, and will be praying that they restart this race.
Yeah. But then is enough of the track wet enough? I think it probably is now, as the cloud cover has moved closer to where we are located for the weekend as well. So on the home straight, as it is this weekend, between Woodcote and Copse, getting very damp as well.
Oh, welcome back to Silverstone.
Why has it been away for so long? This is the sort of day we enjoy, isn't it, in mid-September?
Johnny, I remember the days in the Paddock Hill grandstand at Brands Hatch with my son, and under our checkered flag umbrella, braced for whatever came.
Red flag.
It's a red flag.
It's a red. And now August Turbo will be kicking himself, saying we've made the wrong decision.
No, he won't.
Oh, because we go back to, well, when
previous lap,
which is before he pitted. Do you think?
I think it is.
Okay.
Well, Team Farage celebrates. Brandon McCowan will win this race.
He will.
The 3 cars not following race director's instructions will be investigated after this race. But we can call the top 3 without a shadow of a doubt. Amna Al-Kabaisi will bring home the sister Team Farage 88 car home in 2nd place from the 360 competition car. What a turnaround in fortunes for them this afternoon. Chris Preen will complete the race for them in JS2 R, LR Motorsports. Simone Riccatelli, Lucas Papan, the 18 car. At the moment, before we see exactly what the order will be, the 50 Ligier Arb car of Noah Decuna, but I'm not convinced we won't see August Turbo reinstated somewhere into a podium position, depending on exactly what the call is on the point at which that race result was called. But
regardless of if and where he is reinstated, it's his main rival in the championship, Simone Riccitelli, scoring maximum points again, just as he did in the opening race. So an extra 50 for the weekend will take him to 173 and clear of Turbo by a decent margin. That 4-point gap, I think, will increase. It's just a question of how much it increases by, with 2 more races still to go.
Well, I mean, on count back, August Turbo was still 4th before any adjustment is made, just with where the cars were on timing and scoring.
Yeah.
But there will be a determination made, and if you're following the Ligier European Series, and you should be, keep an eye on the official website for official results later, because that will also include whatever's coming the way of the 3 cars that, as you heard, were reported to the stewards for not obeying race directors' instructions and coming in early for those wets.
But Turbo pitted from 2nd place, didn't he? Because he got ahead of Lucas Papin, so he was 2nd, gave up that position in the hope that the race would go back to green.
There's a swing of 6 points here for him, is what I guess is what you could say.
Okay.
Depending on when they call, it's either 18 or it's 12.
Yes. Yes, so...
It's no worse than 12.
Yeah, and maybe that was part of the thinking, actually. We stand to lose a few, but not a big chunk, and the gain is massive.
Yeah.
Because he would have been on wets, Riccitelli would have been on slicks, and there would be a noticeable upturn in lap speed with a few racing laps in the closing stages. So it was a gamble probably worth taking, but the red flag proved that it did not go the way of the 57 crew of 23 events racing. But as I say, still plenty of points on offer in Portugal, on the south coast, close to Faro.
He's now, though, under investigation for a pit stop infringement.
Okay.
Let's draw a veil over that one. I don't mean veil the corner.
Well, I can't tell you about the previous pit stop and whether it was done to the correct time, but I don't remember it standing out as being quicker than the 2:10, but who knows?
No, it wasn't. Definitely was not.
It wasn't fine.
So whatever's happened, it's happening
he's
at that pit stop now to put the car on wets, August Turbo. So, yeah,
but
keep an eye out.
It was after the announcement the track was declared wet, wasn't it? Yeah, so not sure what that investigation relates to, but
well done
find
for
out.
Team Virage. Undoubtedly 2 race wins for the #1 car today, and both their drivers have been very impressive indeed. Congratulations as well to their 88 crew, the sisters Hamna and Amna, my apologies girls, Al-Kabaisi, and to Dad, who's here and will be very proudly watching the podium celebrations later. And 360 competition, finishing 3rd after a pretty miserable first race this morning, which saw the car unable to leave the collecting area and joining, I think, about 90 seconds down before making its way back up the order. LR Motorsport, Simone Riccitelli, I think undoubtedly is going to win this race, but then after that, it's Lucas Papin. And is it Noah Da Cunha or is it August Turbo? Well, the thing that's just popped up there would tend to indicate it's the first 3.
Yes. Well, everything's been greyed out now by Al Kamel on our timing scoring screen. Cars officially not classified because that all will need to be checked because of the red flag. But this is the order that they were as they came into pit lane, I suppose we can say, with another great performance from Brandon McCuchen and his Algerian teammate Leo Robinson. Amna and Hamda Al-Kubaisi finish in 2nd position after Hamda's great qualifying yesterday. Then Chris Preen and Christian Brooks in the 33 360 competition car. Loire Valley Racing's Roman Bakla in number 22 will continue as the championship leader by my reckoning with his 4th place finish ahead of Max Dodds and Eco Segre in the number 6 ANS Motorsport car. LR Motorsport with another victory, so that's 2 maximums for Simone Riccitelli. And under very different skies earlier on today at Silverstone, we got the 2nd of the latest heats for Ligier European Series underway with his first ever visit to Silverstone and the Al-Kubaisi car under early pressure. It was Hamda starting. She took the 2nd stint earlier this morning, but trying to fend off Christian Brooks in the opening stages. Christian was way off the road actually on the exit of Stowe and took advantage for that Also, Hamdar, with a bit of a wiggle there, lost another place. Then there was a collision further back for the 17 of Henrik Kruse. How about this pinball manoeuvre? Roman Bakler just touching the back there of Ico Segre's car, which then went into the side of Matisse Poulet. Sadly, 2 others involved, Ruben Hage and Jude Peters. Big damage on the front left corner of the 12 ASM Motorsport entry. Hamdar Al-Kubaisi on the fight back, though, having got back ahead of Christian Brooks, and then she was challenging for the race lead with the number 1 car of Leo Robinson. He was a bit sideways coming out of Stowe, did manage to fend off the Emirati in that instance. Down the inside, Matisse Poulet now on a recovery drive, and this was a scrap with Pietro Ferri. And also Roman Bakler scrapping away with Ico Segre, and then getting ahead of his main championship rival. Segre and Maxwell Dodds sharing the number 6 again, and the 6 carrying the scars that cover its race number on the left-hand side. This was all a little untidy for Henrik Kruse in the Petrogold car, and the half-spinning machine also JS2 R, which did eventually recover. That was the 41 car. Actually, the bigger damage encountered by the Petrogold machine, which was eventually retired. Damage to the rear of the 44 as well. The splitter broken up because of Andre Vieira's run through the gravel on the exit of Luffield. Side by side for the race lead, Riccitelli down the inside of Lucas Papin. That took a little while to do, and August Turbo thought he might be able to luck into this whole situation, but Papin stuck the elbows out into Vale and Club. And Turbo then went round the outside of Papin, who made the smallest of errors going into that tricky left-hander. At this point, we'd had the driver changes, and it was now Amna Al-Kubaisi who couldn't fend off the approaches of Brandon McCohen's number 1 Team Virage car. Those cars both run out of the same part of the paddock, although very different entities, if you know what I mean. We've had some difficulties as well for the number 16 car stranded in pit road. That would bring out a late safety car, and then as the rain really started to arrive at Silverstone, eventually the decision was made to stop the race. So it's been red flagged after 21 laps at this stage. So here is the result, yes, after the 21 laps, with McCohen and Robinson winning by 1.5 seconds. These are gaps behind a safety car, remember, from Amna and Hamdar Al-Kubaisi. Christopher Preen, Christian Brooks, third for 360 competition, ahead of Roman Bakler, who should remain as the championship leader for Loire Valley Racing. The winner shown at the moment in the JS2Rs, Noé de Cunha, in the number 50 La Douce Arbre car, ahead of August Turbo, who was late stopping, remember, for those wet weather tyres. Martin Lacquemin next up, ahead of others. The decisions will extend it for a little longer, I would suggest, as to straightening out that result because of the rain arriving. Actually, looking out of our commentary box windows, we got blue sky again at Silverstone and a nice bit of sunshine. But a terrific showing both this morning and this afternoon from the Ligier European Series. If you didn't catch the opening race at Silverstone, it was a cracker. So I would encourage you to go back into the archive and find that out on the Ligier
And we're ready, everybody, with our second race of the day, the podium for the Ligier European Series. We will have 6 podiums in total, starting with JS P4 overall, and of course the overall top 3 as well. And we'll welcome the drivers in reverse order, starting with 3rd place overall, car number 33, the 360 competition car with Christopher Preen and Christian Brooks. Well done. Well-deserved lunch on the way to the podium as well. In 2nd place, the number 88 car, Team Virage, and Amna Al-Kabaisi and Hamda Al-Kabaisi. Well done. To the top step of the podium for the 2nd time today, the number 1 car, Team Virage, with Leo Robinson and Brandon McGoughan. And a representative of our winning team as well, Team Virage. Congratulations all around. And now the national anthem for the winning team, Team Virage. The national anthem of Poland for Team Virage. Well done, the 2nd time today we've heard that. Right, everybody, pick up your trophies and pose for the cameras, including our top 3 driver teams and the winning team as well. Get your cameras ready, everyone. Photographs are complete. You are now allowed to celebrate. A great celebration as well for double winners, Team Virage, Leo Robinson and Brandon McGoughan. Our next podium is for the winning Pro-Am car in JS P4. And we'll just dress the podium, getting ready for our presentation, because already we have seen these drivers on the podium. So we collect up awards, hand them out to, oh yeah, says Brandon, he forgot his trophy. He's off to driver coach at Brands Hatch tomorrow, so he needs to take the trophies. So our next podium is for the winning Pro-Am team for our 2nd race of the day. The winners are number 33, the 360 competition car of Christian Preen and Christopher Preen and Christian Brooks. Well done. Winning team represented as well, 360 competition. Pick up your trophies, guys, and pose for the cameras, and you get more bubbly to celebrate with as well, which I think is being added to a saved collection. Well done, congratulations, our Pro-Am winners. Our Am winners are next, and the winners in the Am category will receive a trophy apiece and a bottle of fizz to celebrate with as well. For the winners in the Am category, car number 58, HP Racing by M Racing and Jacques Nicolet. Well done, congratulations. Two trophies, Jacques. Does the work of 2. Well done, congratulations. Yeah, multiple trophies, 2 bottles of champagne as well. Well done, Shaq. That's a good day's work. Our next podium is the JS2 R overall podium. We will get all 3 driver pairings up and a representative of our winning team as well. And we'll get the drivers once again onto the podium in reverse order. Podium is dressed and we're ready to go. 3rd place, the number 50 car, the Ligier and Noé de Cunha. Well done, congratulations, 3rd place. In 2nd place, the number 18 car, the VSF Sports car with Lucas Papin and Stephen Pallet. Well done. And the winning car, car number 7, the LR Motorsport car, Simone Rescitelli. Well done. And a representative of our winning team, LR Motorsport as well, and a handshake from Bibenda. Simone onto the top step of the podium, and now the national anthem for the winning team. The national anthem of Italy for our winning team. And if you want to collect your trophies now, hold them up. This is the photograph opportunity, everybody. Well done to all. They are allowed to celebrate. They have bottles of bubbly to do it with. Here we go. Congratulations to all of our drivers on the podium for our 2nd race of today. And they can probably let their hair down with a celebration with champagne. Our next podium, and we'll dress it quite quickly for the presentation in the JS2R category for our Pro-Am winner. Ready with our podium presentation for the Pro-Ams. Car number 94, Pegasus Racing, Jordan Mayer and Alain Mayer. Well done, congratulations. Winners in the Pro-Am category, and a representative of Pegasus Racing as well. Well done to all, and a round of applause. Pick up trophies. And that's our Pro-Am winners, everybody. Fantastic. Well done. Congratulations. And our final podium, which is coming up, is for still in the JS2R category. It is for the winning AM drivers. Podium dressed, ready to go. The winners in the AM category, car number 41, that's VSF Sports, and Florian Thiele and Christian Clay. Well done. Congratulations to both. And a representative of our winning team, VSF Sports as well. Trophies, hold them high, cameras out. And our winning AM category in the JS2R is our final podium presentation, everybody, for the Ligier European Series.
you.